Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Smart Money Mo, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the only confirmation and the best confirmation that you need for your day-to-day trading. We're going to be breaking down this concept with a beautiful trade on gold that I took. And speaking on this trade of gold, this was actually sent as a signal to my mentorship. So you guys can see here on this particular date, which was only a couple of days ago, I said sell XAU USD, and yeah, this ran for a beautiful 1 to 5 risk to reward, over 100 pips caught. And yeah, you can see here that I sent the entry, SL and TP. So the entry, SL and TP, everything was sent to the team, so everyone could have been able to catch this alongside me. You can see my entry here and the MetaTrader details all over here as well. So if you guys would like to catch my trades, my signals, and you want the benefits of all of these other things listed over here, such as a fully structured SMC course, 8 working and profitable strategies, weekly Zoom calls, private case study videos that are uploaded once a week, and everything else, as well as a lovely community, then make sure to check the first link in the description and pay a one-time fee for all of the listed benefits. But without further ado, let's get right into today's video. Alright everyone, so to kick things off with this video, we're just going to be talking about what exactly am I looking for when I'm talking about this golden sort of best confirmation, right? And as simple as it is, what I'm looking for is for price to tap into my supply and demand zone, as well as sweeping liquidity, right? So we can see that here. And the reason I'm looking for that is because we get the double confirmation, in the sense that we have taken out liquidity and we have mitigated a zone, right? And why is this important? This is important because it means that price is starting to create order flow in our desired direction. So what do I mean by order flow? What I mean by order flow is order flow in a certain direction, so whether it's bullish or bearish. In this example, we have bearish order flow is when price is, consecutively breaking structure and mitigating supply zones, right? If we're talking about bearish order flow. So seeing this scenario play out is going to tell me that we are about to get into a chain of order flow, and in particular over here we're about to get into a chain of bearish order flow, right? So let's actually break this model down. So as I mentioned here, I'm looking for price to tap into the supply zone, and I'm looking for it to sweep liquidity as well. So we can see here that price has the supply zone and we have these relative equal highs, right? At the moment, all this looks like from afar is just normal bearish structure, right? But if we look closer, what we can see is price made relative equal highs, right? Then it swept the relative equal highs. Then the actual move which swept the relative equal highs tapped into a supply zone, right? So let me say that again. The move which swept the liquidity itself, right, tapped into a supply zone. Okay, this scenario or structure or model, whatever you want to call it, right here is the golden sort of confirmation when scalping or intraday trading, because like I mentioned here, we double up on the confirmation. Not only do we have the sort of bias that we're going to go bearish because we have this liquidity sweep and then the drop, we also have the bias in terms of order flow because price is mitigating this supply zone, right? So we're seeing the mitigation of supply, and we're seeing the sweep of equal highs or relative equal highs, or if it was a supply zone here, we're seeing the sweep of the supply zone. And so now we're getting a confirmed sense of bearish order flow, as I mentioned over here, right, in our desired direction, which is towards the downside. So then when price comes to mitigate the supply zone up here, which tapped into this one and swept this liquidity, we know it's going to be a highly probable setup. So then we can just set our entry here, set the stop loss here, and set the TP here, and we just got ourselves a really nice confirmation, so this golden confirmation, and we got ourselves a very high probability setup. So as simple as it is, this is the entry model or the golden confirmation that I'm using in my intraday trading, and this was the exact setup that I used when I traded gold and I sent that signal. So now we're going to go through the actual breakdown of that gold trade on the real life chart example, and I'm going to show you guys how I was able to make about 3 grand in the space of a couple of hours, and how I sent that signal and that analysis as well. So I'm going to see you guys in the charts right now. Alright everyone, so here I am on gold. We are on the 5-minute time frame, as that is where most of the analysis was taking place, and we're just going to start straight away with marking things up. So what did I notice? First things first, what I noticed was price actually just breaking this structure right here. So yeah, price broke this structure, and I was thinking to myself, okay, so price broke this structure, that will usually meet us with a supply zone, right? And I noticed this supply zone right here, right? And of course, when I see one of these supply zones, I try and think to myself, what other confirmations can I stack on top of this, right? Because I can't just take a trade just like this, just based off of this. I have to stack my confirmations. I have to see certain things before I can just take an entry. So I also noticed this supply zone was mitigating a supply zone over here, right? And I noticed that that supply zone, so if I just come back here, was mitigating a supply zone back here as well. So there was a clear sort of bearish order flow starting, right? Because we can see the breaker structures here, on the lower time frame, right? And we're breaking previous structures here as well, right? And then price ends up breaking this structure here, and we end up breaking this previous structure as well. So we mitigate this supply zone, we mitigate this supply zone with this move, and then I also noticed price taking out this trendline liquidity here, and I also noticed price taking out this high over here, which had a supply zone here as well. So we have essentially seen the confirmation that I want. Why? Because we have a chain of supply, right? We have a liquidity sweep, the move which swept the liquidity, right? So this move which swept the liquidity tapped into a supply zone. So we're starting to see the bearish order flow begin, right? And I usually mark up my bearish order flow with these sort of red markings, right? So you can see here, and then again here, and then I'm expecting the next touch of the bearish order flow here when price mitigates the move which created the liquidity sweep and which mitigated this previous supply zone. Okay, and then of course we have the other confirmations which I look for, which is of course liquidity and inducement resting below my zone. So we have some liquidity here in the form of those relative equal highs over here, and we also have this level of inducement coming in the form of a supply zone. Okay, so we have the confirmations that I want. We have the best and sort of golden confirmation that I was looking for, which is the reason for this video, right? We have our break of structure, which validates the trade, and the supply zone is not mitigated. So everything at the moment is picture perfect. All we literally have to do now is set limits for this trade, just like so. TP there, stop loss there. Now targets, we can just simply aim for this low, take partials, can come up this level of this demand, which is actually where I took full profits. But yeah, we can just place this at the low. Why can we actually place it at the low? Because, right, you might be asking yourself, okay, why don't we just go for this demand zone, to stay safe? The reason why we can place it at this low is because price is starting to create bearish order flow, like I was talking about in the slides. So in bearish order flow, price mitigates supply, and it breaks structure. Now we're waiting for the next break of structure to continue the bearish order flow. Okay, so if you wanted a more ambitious take profit, of course you could have went for like a demand zone down here, right? And that would have bumped you up to a 1.7. But for me, this 1 to 5 is more than enough for me. And yeah, this is exactly how the trade was laid out and how I sent it out to the team. So if we can just play this out, just move this across here, and we give price its time to do its thing. And you can see we blow way past take profit, and we eventually, I'm pretty sure, break the next low as well, right? So we go all the way past take profit, and yeah, price runs for a ridiculous 1 to 15. Of course, our take profits were here, But nonetheless, you can see how the bearish order flow takes over completely in this market, and we see the constant mitigation of supply. So guys, this is mixing supply and demand, order blocks, and liquidity trading and order flow. You get a very powerful confirmation. You get a very powerful entry model. So I hope you guys will benefit from this in your scalping and your intraday trading. If you do, make sure to leave a comment, and make sure that if you want to gain access to the signals and gain access to breakdowns and trades and the knowledge here, to check out the mentorship, the first link in the description, and yeah, you will gain access to all of those great things. But guys, I will see you in the next video. Thank you all very much.